Hello people, in today's video we bring to you the Chinese god who got offended for not getting invited to a party in the heavens, got a little tipsy and waged war against the celestial forces, and the end result, the Buddha had to intervene to handle this ill-tempered trickster god. Say hello to Monkey King, aka Sun Wukong. He was so formidable that even the gods in heaven feared him. He was so powerful that even a magical fire couldn't destroy him. He was so notorious that he had to be trapped in by the weight of an entire mountain, and had a mighty iron staff, incredible martial arts skills, superhuman physical prowess, and infinite transformation abilities to the mix. That's Monkey King for you folks. Want to know more about this defiant Herculean god who eventually turned noble and benevolent? Then let's get started. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Who is Sun Wukong, aka Monkey King? Sun Wukong is a mythological and literary figure prominently appearing in Chinese legends and stories. This unruly god is the main character of the legendary 16th century Chinese novel Journey to the West, authored by Wu Cheng'en. The Monkey King comes with an intriguing origin story of having been born from a mystical rock empowered by the forces of heaven and earth. Obsessed with immortality, the Monkey King learnt the secret formula of evading death through Taoist practices. He wreaked havoc in heaven and earth with his transformative powers and cloud somersaulting abilities, and blinded by his newfound powers, the status-hungry god started equating himself with the celestial beings, eventually infiltrating the Jade Emperor's palace, drinking the heavenly wine, consuming the immortal fruit, and then ferociously rebelling against the gods. When he was cast out, owing to Sun Wukong's multiple layers of immortality and his remarkable set of powers, the Buddha had to step in to put a stop to his monkey menace. Imprisoned in the Five Elements Mountain for 500 years, the Monkey King finally earned his release when he was chosen to accompany the monk Tang Sanzang to retrieve Buddhist sutras from ancient India. On the pilgrimage, the Monkey King went from being a greedy, deceitful god to achieving enlightenment. No wonder his name is Sun Wukong, which literally translates into the monkey awakened by emptiness. Over the years, the Monkey King and its many versions are featured in several productions, such as the character of Son Goku in Dragon Ball, which is based on Sun Wukong with its monkey tail and staff. Son Goku is just the Japanese translation of the Chinese name Sun Wukong. Marvel Comics created their own version of Sun Wukong as a crime boss who steals the staff and comes face to face with the OG Monkey King. DC Sun Wukong is the human son of the mythical Monkey King. More recently, 2023's animated Netflix movie The Monkey King is based on the character's origin story, but with a few tweaks. The Monkey King is the central character of the game Black Myth Wukong, which is inspired by the novel Journey to the West. History of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, explored. In ancient China, the Monkey King was born from a mystical boulder on the mountain of flowers and fruit, known as Mount Huaguo. It was imbued with the yin and yang energies of earth and heaven, which granted the stone the ability to create living things, and a magical stone womb was formed inside. When the boulder cracked, and the womb released a stone egg, which was exposed to the winds on Mount Huaguo, it turned into a magical monkey. Despite being a newborn, the monkey could walk and talk, and his eyes released such powerful golden beams that they reached the heavens and caught the attention of the primordial god Jade Emperor, the most revered celestial being. The Jade Emperor appointed two gods to investigate the source of light in the mortal realm. Learning that the light is coming from a young monkey, the Jade Emperor dismissed the incident as unimportant. Growing up amongst the others of his kind on Mount Huaguo, the monkey was larger than his peers and also more daring. After all, he was a trickster god in the making. Accepting a bizarre challenge from his kindred, the monkey leaped across a huge waterfall to discover the source of a stream, and ended up deciphering a palace, which he claimed for the forest monkeys and set up his empire. Completing the challenge earned him the title of the Monkey King, and thus he became a lord of the monkeys, who later goes on to fight the heavenly gods. Training years. After losing one of his older friends, the Monkey King is consumed by the idea to learn how to cheat death. When one of his subjects tell him how Buddha, sages and dragons have learned the way of immortality, he leaves his island empire behind and sets out alone on a raft. Reaching the land of men, the Monkey King disguises himself in a woodland man's clothing and roams across continents for years before reaching the edge of the world and chancing upon a woodcutter who shows him the way to a hidden cave of the Taoist immortal Taoist sage Puti Zushi, aka Master Subhuti. Refused entry at first, the Monkey King waits outside for months when he's eventually ushered in by the sage, who accepts him as a student and names him Sun Wukong. Trained by Puti Zushi for decades, the Monkey King excels in all forms of martial arts healing techniques, and Taoist practices, which grant him enhanced supernatural powers and even teach him the way of immortality. Promising never to flaunt his skills, never to pass them on, the Monkey King leaves Putizushi's cavern to return to his empire with a new sense of arrogance and his newfound invulnerability. The Monkey King also promised Putizushi to never reveal the identity of his master, and hence he would always say the Taoist teachings and practices appeared to him in his dreams. Journey to the Dragon Palace. The Monkey King returns to his empire, only to find that a demon has been kidnapping his subjects and turning them into slaves. With his freshly acquired powers, he attacks the demon and reclaims his throne. The demon mocks him, saying only true power and great weapons can earn him the reverence he desires. Now a formidable force, the Monkey King's hunt for the perfect weapon to match his notorious reputation and power begins, which takes him to the underwater palace of the Dragon King Ao Guang, beyond the oceans. After being refused entry at the gate, the Monkey King infiltrates the palace anyway and extorts Ao Guang into sharing his weapons treasury with him. Fearing the Monkey King's powers and his short temper, Ao Guang brings out weapon after weapon for this power-hungry king, but none turns out to be robust enough for the Monkey King. To Ao Guang's dismay, the Monkey King takes a liking for the most prized possession in Ao Guang's treasury, the golden-banded staff named Rui Jingu Bang, an extremely powerful mystical artifact and the pacifier of the four seas. It weighs a whopping 7,960 kilos, and Monkey King was the only one strong enough to wield it. The staff could change its form to attack opponents, make the Monkey King fly, and even turn into a needle when not in use, which Monkey King safely kept tucked in his ear. Sun Wukong also forced Ao Guang and the other Dragon Kings to gift him an attire fit for a wickedly powerful ruler of his stature, and acquired the mystical phoenix feather cap, the cloud-walking boots, and a golden chainmail shirt. Happy with his extortion, the Monkey King leaves the Dragon King's palace but earns a place in hell for tormenting the Dragon King. Meanwhile, the Monkey King's reputation as a ruthless, unbeatable force brings him the allegiance of other beastly powers such as the Bull Demon King, the Lion Spirit King, the Rock Demon King, and others, together forming the frightening Seven Sages. Obtaining the title of the Great Sage, Heaven's Equal. When the King of Hell, Yan Wang, and his commanders come to take away the Monkey King's soul to the underworld, he tricks them and returns to Earth without undergoing reincarnation. The Heavenly Army also attempts to erase Sun Wukong's existence, but never succeeds. The Monkey King in turn wipes out his name and the names of his subject monkeys from the Book of Life and Death, elongating their lifespan and disrupting the balance of birth and death. Hearing this, the Jade Emperor decides to not engage in a clash with the audacious Monkey King and gives him a rank in the heavens to deceitfully pacify him. The Monkey King is initially happy to be amongst the heavenly deities, but when he learns that he received the lowest rank as the protector of the horses, he returns to his earthly kingdom in a furious state and assumes the title of the Great Sage, Heaven's Equal. The heavenly beings look down upon the Monkey King as brash and impudent, but on the deity Goldstar's advice, the Jade Emperor decides to accept his self-proclaimed title and welcome him back to the heavens, just so he doesn't wreak havoc on Earth. Upon his return to the heavens, the peach-loving Monkey King gets a far more important role as the guardian of the heavenly peach garden. But when goddess Queen Mother Shi Wangmu sends her maidens to pluck peaches for the royal banquet, Monkey King realizes he's not invited to the gathering because the heavens only regard him as an immortal who tends to the peach gardens, and nothing more. Furious, the Monkey King reaches the highest levels of the heavenly palace by infiltrating 33 layers in a drunken state and steals and consumes the pills of immortality and peaches of immortality. Taking the remnants of the Jade Emperor's royal wine, the Monkey King then returns to his earthly kingdom to prepare for a war against the heavens. Rebellion against heaven. This time, the Jade Emperor ignores the Goldstar's advice to resolve the issue peacefully and sends the full might of his heavenly forces to take down the troublemaker Monkey King. But Sun Wukong was more than ready with his monkey clan, and he took down an army of the 4 heavenly kings, 28 constellations, and 100,000 celestial warriors, all the while laughing mockingly and enjoying the clash. The defeat of the heavenly forces prompts the appearance of the revered bodhisattva of mercy, Guan Yin, who sends her disciple Muzha to fight Sun Wukong, but they too were defeated. Next in turn was Jade Emperor's nephew, God Erlang Shen, who was able to go toe-to-toe with Sun Wukong, something which frightened Wukong's army and drove them away. The Monkey King and Erlang Shen keep shape-shifting to more and more powerful forms, till the ancient sage Lao Tzu knocks out the Monkey King with his diamond jade ring. But the heavenly forces fail to execute this extremely powerful Monkey King, who's then locked up in Lao Tzu's mystical cauldron to be distilled into an elixir to replace the missing pills of immortality. The cauldron burned with the Samadhi fires, which are of unspeakable intensity and destroy the most powerful beings. But when it was opened after 49 days, Sun Wukong jumped out, having survived by hiding in a corner with less intensity. Meanwhile, the flames of the Samadhi fires have granted Sun Wukong new powers and forged him into a stronger entity, who can now detect evil with his blazing eyes and golden pupils. Destroying the cauldron, the enlarged, enhanced, and more formidable Monkey King infiltrates the heavenly chambers again to confront the Jade Emperor. Punishment by Buddha. Fearing the Monkey King, the Jade Emperor reached out to Buddha as a last resort. Hearing the Monkey King's demand that he wants to become the new Jade Emperor, Buddha offered a challenge to the Monkey King, knowing that the arrogant Sun Wukong will accept it. Buddha asked if the Monkey King could leap out of Buddha's palms, which he did, and traversed a long distance all the way to what he believed was the edge of the universe, marked by 5 stone pillars. The Monkey King defiles the pillars and marks them with his moniker, the Great Sage, Heaven's Equal, only to realize the pillars are Buddha's fingers, and he's still very much in his palm, as the entire universe is within Buddha's grasp. Buddha hurls the Monkey King back to the earthly realm, traps him under a mountain, and seals him off with a paper talisman bearing the mantra Om Mani Padme Hum for 500 years, for a lesson in repentance, humility, and patience. With only the Monkey King's head and arms protruding out from the mountain, Buddha instructed 2 earth spirits to feed him molten copper when thirsty and iron pellets when hungry. Journey to the West and transformation. 500 years later, when ancient China was getting corrupted by greed and violence, Buddha decided to retrieve sacred sutras from India, and the monk Tang Sanzang, aka Tripitaka, was selected by Guan Yin to make the pilgrimage. The Monkey King offered to join the pilgrimage as a guardian in exchange for his freedom at the end of the journey, but fearing his mischievous nature, Guan Yin gave Tang Sanzang a magical band that would cause the monkey severe headache when a mantra is chanted, in order to control him if needed. The Monkey King then accompanied Tang Sanzang, who rides the white dragon horse on his journey, along with the other beastly disciples, Zhu Baji, a humanoid pig beast, and Sha Wujing, the sand monster, who too were there to atone for their past mistakes. Grateful to be released from his imprisonment, Sun Wukong served Tang Sanzang with loyalty, protecting the party from demons, malevolent forces, and bandits during the trip to India and back, and they encountered as many as 81 hurdles on their way. During this time, Sun Wukong undergoes a transformation and learns of the teachings of Buddha, attains enlightenment, and earns the title of the victorious fighting Buddha for his service and dedication, thus leaving his past life of greed and deceit behind. Finally, the Monkey King was able to utilize his immortality and mystical powers for a greater cause, shielding Tang Sanzang from demons that wanted to eat him and gain immortality. Every ability of Sun Wukong, aka the Monkey King, explored. Sun Wukong possessed a remarkable arsenal of abilities, in addition to his extreme strength, martial arts prowess, and dexterity at wielding the magical staff. As a legendary acrobat, he could leap over 34,000 miles in one somersault, and could even leap into the heavens, riding on a nimbus-like cloud, a technique he mastered under the guidance of the sage, Puti Zushi. Sun Wukong was a master of stealth and weapons, being able to wield even the strongest of them. Having erased his name from the Book of Life and Death, consumed the peaches and pills of immortality, he was an immortal and outside the rules of life and death, incapable of being killed by any deity, even by the Jade Emperor. He also had enhanced senses, as he could see through illusions and disguises and long distances in a clairvoyant manner, and could also fight non-physical beings such as constellations. The Monkey King had regenerative powers, such as he could regenerate his body after turning into ash by the cauldron furnace. He could generate powerful hurricanes to ride on them, and also to shroud Earth in darkness. The Monkey King can also transport his opponents in a gush of swift wind and can manipulate water. He was an expert at size manipulation and could turn 20 miles tall to intimidate opponents, can grow into planet sizes to grab the moon, and also become as tiny as an ant to hide. In fact, Sun Wukong brags about his ability to fill the universe with his body if he wants. The Monkey King's incredible durability and strength. Sun Wukong could release powerful light beams from his eyes, and could manipulate his inner chi, and also have the power of invisibility and astral projection. Needless to say, Monkey King's body was indestructible, which was further strengthened by Lao Tzu's cauldron fire. The Monkey King can also incapacitate not just humans, but also gods and spirits with his freeze command and the point of a finger, leaving them immobilized for an entire day at times. Undoubtedly, the Monkey King's striking power generated massive earthquakes, and in his size-manipulated form, his strikes could even shake planets and move the moon from the sky. The Monkey King's incredible durability is tested when attacked by the heavenly forces, as not even the blows from the powerful god Neja, the constellations, and even the Jade Emperor himself could harm Sun Wukong, who emerged victorious amongst them all. Sun Wukong's remarkable transformative powers. The coolest power of the Monkey King was his 72 transformations, or the multitude of terrestrial killers power set, taught by his master Puti Zushi, which enabled Sun Wukong to transform into literally anything. from animals and other living beings to buildings and structures. Even though it says 72 transformations, Sun Wukong could take an endless variety of forms and alter them into their variations, such as altering specific parts of the body. During the fight with the deity Neja, Sun Wukong could also imitate Neja's warrior form, gaining 3 heads and 6 arms, and then further manipulate this imitated form to generate as many as 10,000 limbs. Interestingly, it is said that for each of the 72 transformations, Sun Wukong gets an extra life. The Monkey King can also transform each of his 84,000 body hairs into living things or inanimate objects, just by delivering the command, change. But mostly, he uses this power to spawn clones of himself to create an army. And mind you, this ability is in addition to his self-duplicating ability. Sun Wukong's powers during Buddhahood. After being freed from his imprisonment, the Monkey King was given 3 life-saving hairs from willow branch leaves by Guanyin to magically create anything that he wished in dire situations during the pilgrimage. The 3 hairs were different from the Monkey King's own transformative hair and proved to be instrumental in fulfilling his duties as the guardian of Tang Sanzang, aka Tripitaka. Another addition to his list of guarding powers was his ability to create protective barriers by drawing circles with his powerful iron staff. These barriers were as impenetrable as iron walls and protected Tripitaka from approaching enemies, whether they were beasts or demons. After attaining nirvana during the pilgrimage, the Monkey King became nigh omniscient. That is, he knew everything there is to know about existence. In his transformed enlightened state, Sun Wukong was aware of the fate of Tripitaka and knew about his impending harm and suffering. The Monkey King was also able to cure a long-ailing king with a certain knowledge of herbs that was never discovered. Is Sun Wukong, also known as the Monkey King, truly immortal? And what does 7 times immortality mean? Soon after he became the Monkey King, Sun Wukong began his journey to grasp the secrets of immortality. He achieved it 7 times separately, through various means, granting him 7 times immortality and making him super immortal, the most invincible being of all creation. Taoist master Puti Zushi, or Masters of Booty, trained him to control the 5 elements and master a specialized breathing technique, which granted him immortality for the first time. Then, when the Monkey King's soul was getting dragged away by the kings of hell, he bullied them into gaining access to the Book of Life and Death, and scratched out his name and the names of his tribe monkeys. With his name omitted from the register, Sun Wukong made himself untouchable to the harbingers of death and gained immortality again, following which the 10 kings complained to the Jade Emperor. Then again, when Sun Wukong threw tantrums for his petty rank in Jade Emperor's heavenly empire, he was falsely promoted to the guardian of the immortal Peach Garden, which grew 3 kinds of the fruit, each granting 3,000 years of longevity and a bunch of powers, including eternal youth. The Monkey King feasted on the peaches and gained another layer of immortality. When Sun Wukong was left out of the invitation list of the Queen Mother's heavenly banquet, he entered the gathering nevertheless, impersonating another deity, and was instantly drawn by the aroma of the heavenly wine with the power of immortality. The Monkey King had his fill, attaining another stage of immortality, before drunkenly stumbling into Lao Tzu's alchemy lab at the palace. There, he unknowingly discovered the immortal's greatest treasure, the Pill of Longevity, a bunch of which he devoured out of sheer curiosity, thus gaining immortality again. When the heavenly forces rained down upon the Monkey King, they failed multiple times to execute this immortal being, each time getting one-up by Sun Wukong's armory of mystical powers. In the last attempt, the Monkey King is trapped inside Lao Tzu's cauldron with the Samadhi fire for 49 days. Sun Wukong not only survived the exile, but he was purged of all traces of mortality by the fire, refining him into an immortal yet again. The Monkey King gains his final layer of immortality during his pilgrimage with Tang Sanzang, when they come across the baby-shaped ginseng fruit, rarer than the immortality peaches. Every 10,000 years, only 30 of them grow on a single magical tree on the Longevity Mountain. While a whiff of the fruit can grant 360 years of life, consuming an entire fruit gives a lifespan of 47,000 years. After arriving at Buddha's temple in the west, Tripitaka and his pilgrims were offered the ginseng fruit and tea, therefore making Sun Wukong immortal for the 7th time. Why didn't Sun Wukong use his transformation ability to match Buddha's strength? As mentioned earlier, the multitude of terrestrial killers power set, or the power of 72 transformations, enabled the Monkey King to transform into as many as 72 forms and beyond, and by extension, he can take the form of a deity and mirror his opponents. But Sun Wukong's transformative abilities had certain limitations, which were not really listed in the book in definitive terms, but somewhat made apparent through instances. The Monkey King's most terrifying transformation was imitating Neja and turning into a 3-headed and 6-armed form, which Sun Wukong repeated later during multiple clashes. But his imitating transformations don't seem to grant him the powers and abilities of the person or being he's transforming into. On one occasion, the Monkey King transformed into the Bull Demon King to gather intelligence from his son, Hong Haye, one of his biggest enemies. But when Hong Haye asked him a personal question about his date of birth, the Monkey King hesitated and gave himself away. Nevertheless, he had a good laugh over Hong Haye calling him his father. Anyway, in some cases it seemed that Sun Wukong was able to mimic the powers of his opponents, but some fan theories explain that Sun Wukong has a bunch of incredible powers in his own arsenal, and he may have been using his own powers to look like his opponents. Also, the clash between Buddha and Sun Wukong was more on the spiritual level than a physical battle. When the Monkey King challenged Buddha's authority, Buddha didn't retaliate with brute force, but manipulated the Monkey King's ego by daring him to do the impossible, escaping the palm of his hand. Blinded by arrogance, the Monkey King seemingly didn't feel the need to undergo a massive transformation to complete the challenge, and by the time he realized he still hadn't escaped Buddha's palm, it was too late, and in no time found himself trapped within a mountain. Hypothetically, even if Sun Wukong pulled a transformation trick on Buddha, he'd still be defeated by such an omnipresent, omniscient being. How Sun Wukong can be defeated or killed. It's fairly impossible to kill the Monkey King. Considering his incredible powers and 7 layers of immortality, he was able to regrow his severed head owing to his regenerative abilities, and also survived the magical cauldron fire for 49 days. However, Sun Wukong did completely die on one occasion when burning from Red Boy's Samadhi fire. He dove into a cold stream, but the thermal shock stopped his breath, and the poor souls and the Hun spirits left his body. This was an accident, and he was revived by Zhu Baji's life-saving message, which brings us to the question, can this immortal being be destroyed once and for all? Fans draw some theories from another Chinese novel dealing with demons and deities, The Investiture of the Gods, which mentions spiritual weapons and rituals formulated to kill immortal beings. The book talks about an array of traps designed with nature's destructive elements such as water, ice, sand, fire, wind, and thunder, and the Monkey King could seem vulnerable to 3 kinds. The vehement flame trap, containing true Samadhi fire, the roaring typhoon trap, which uses strong wind and Samadhi fire together, and the soul-snatching trap, which contains the destructive energies of earth and heaven and eliminates one's Po and Hun spirits. There's mention of another ritual in Investiture of the Gods, where a powerful ancient immortal is killed by secretly stealing his primal spirit, tethering it to an effigy, and then shooting arrows to its eyes and chest. While these traps and rituals prove to be deadly against some ancient immortals in the Investiture of the Gods novel, we strongly suspect that the Monkey King will be able to see through the deceit with his blazing eyes and golden pupils, even before an attack is launched. The enchanted powers of the Monkey King's Iron Staff. The Monkey King's most prized possession and his trusty ally has been the Iron Staff Rui Jingu Bang, which he acquired from the Dragon King of the East Sea. After rejecting several weapons as unworthy of his stature, the Monkey King sparked an instant connection with the Rui Jingu Bang, which can fly, elongate, and carry out its master's will, just as the inscription on the staff reads, "As you will." The Iron Staff, which was forged at the dawn of creation, comes with the most incredible ability of size manipulation. At first, it measured 20 feet in length and the size of a barrel in width, but when Sun Wukong wished it to be smaller, the Iron Staff immediately complied. While showing off his new weapon to the monkey tribe, Sun Wukong enlarged it to touch the heavens and then reduced it to the size of a needle. A spiritual form of the Ryu Jingu Bang remained operational in the underworld when Sun Wukong's soul got dragged down by the kings of hell, leaving his physical body and the physical weapon in the living realm. The fact that Sun Wukong is able to wield the staff in its disembodied form suggests it has the power of astral entanglement, though this happened once in the storyline. The weapon can be multiplied upon the Monkey King's commands, as he rained down staves on a demonic army and also wielded 3 staves in its 3-head 6-arm form. The Rui Jingu Bang is also capable of transformation under Sun Wukong's command, as he turned it into a razor once to shave a boy's head, and on another occasion into a drill to bore a hole in a dragon's horn. The Iron Staff also seemed to exhibit a certain level of sentience, as pointed out by the Dragon Queen to the Dragon King. She says that days before the arrival of the Monkey King, the staff began glowing, probably in anticipation of its new master and its release from the Dragon Treasury. In the past, the Iron Staff served as a controller of oceans when wielded by the legendary Chinese king Yu the Great. He used to measure the depths of all oceans, rivers, and lakes, and settle floods with the Rui Jingu Bang. Marvel's verdict? Well, we have to admit that the Monkey King's legacy is as rebellious and wicked as it is courageous and bold, leaping into the heavens, scaring the gods, drinking their wine, and then becoming Buddha's disciple. No wonder Sun Wukong is one of the most beloved and legendary characters in Chinese culture. So, what do you think of this trickster god with multiple layers of immortality? Which mythical character do you want us to explore next? Don't forget to tell us in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and if you liked our video, stay tuned for more marvelous content. See you super soon.